I'm currently outside the Wooden Walls pub in Coventry Village. Inside this pub there is a game that I imagine many people haven't even heard of, and that game is called Cheese Skittles. There's a few different variations of the game of Skittles. Perhaps the most known version is the one that's similar to bowling, where you roll a ball down a wooden alley and try and knock over 9 pins. However, the game here is quite different to that, but I think I'll let one of the experts explain that.
There are several different types of playing, and it varies from county to county. But basically, like tonight, it's 9v9, so we're playing another pub that's very local to us. So basically you stand, I mean every pub's different, every table's different, every distance is different. There is a kind of set distance, normally sort of between 8 and 10 foot, so that makes an amazing difference when you go to each pub on the variant of the throw. Basically you stand behind what's called a line, which is called an ocky, and you throw. And you throw 3 cheeses, they're called, at the pins which are on the table, and then basically in a match scenario you have to hit more than what they call set you. So if they set you 8, you have to hit 9. If you don't hit 9, you lose a chalk. And the game is basically on 5 chalks, and whoever wins, that's 5 to your team, or whatever.
Okay.
You don't throw overarm, normally people throw underarm. There are what you call skimmers, which throw it like a frisbee. Technically, they're normally not the better players. Anybody who starts to throw it underarm normally develops into a better player or a more consistent player. But there's no real hidden rules, to be honest, just a good game. Enjoy it, really.
I also had a sit down and a drink with Mark Underwood, who is the captain of the Coventry Cheese Skittle team. Firstly, how did you get into Cheese Skittles?
Well, that's a long time ago now. My family actually, really it was a thing of the past with working men's clubs and things like that. So when I was younger, about 14, when we used to go to the working men's club, we always played Skittles. So I started actually playing in the league when I was 15. Played till I was about maybe 25, and then stopped. And then started again here about 10 years ago.
Along with asking Glenn about the history of the game, I was also intrigued as to how he started playing the game.
I'm a bit of a Skittles freak, which is quite unique to this area and obviously Bedfordshire, and played out in Kettering. It's an unusual game, but quite an obsession that many people play around here, and it's just something different, something quite unique.
So how did you first get into
I started playing when I was about 15 years old, in the next village down, the Compass Inn. A very good team. Found it very nerve-wracking. Obviously I was the baby of the team, and I played for approximately 12 to 15 years. And then after getting married and that, things changed, so I had a bit of a break, and I've now come back again to this pub, the Wooden Walls in Coventry, for the last 9 years or so.
So that's how long you've been playing for this team?
About 9 years, about 9 years, So it's, love it.
Right, 2 hours first, okay. I've got 9 we have, which is, and A's not playing, we've got to be playing at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, really? Yeah, I had 10 and then one bad out this morning, one bad out this afternoon. So, go on then.
What you're seeing here is the captain of each team deciding who is playing against who, and in what order each matchup will take place. The way the matchups are decided is through a random selection process. Each captain nominates the players in their team prior to the draw. They then write down each person's name. The names of the people on the Wooden Walls team are on the small whiteboards, and the names of the people on the Pagotti's team are on the small pieces of wood. The captain then picks up the names of the opposing team and randomly picks up one at a time and turns it over, revealing the name of a player. They do this until all of the names have been turned over. The other captain then does the same thing. The order they are turned over at determines who plays who. For example, Kev Hardesty was the first name turned over for the Wooden Wolves, and Steve Stretton was the first name turned over for the Pagottis, which means these two will play against each other. The order of play is then written down on the official match sheet, and each captain signs it.
And on film.
As I mentioned earlier, the first matchup was Kev Hardesty versus Steve Stretton. The game got off to a fantastic start as Kev hit a flora. A flora is when a player knocks over all the Skittles using a single cheese. It is actually pretty rare to do this in Skittles, as Mark told me after the game that he has only seen a flora about 5 times in all the time that he has been playing. In the Wooden Walls pub, the Skittle matches can attract quite a crowd, and the room which has the Skittles table in is very small. Due to this, the pub puts a camera in the match room which links to a TV in a bigger room, which means people can still watch the game without going into the match room. The most important part about the spectators' room is that the bar is also in there, which means the spectators can easily get themselves another pint.
I'm joined here by Mark Underwood again, the captain of the Coventry team. So how did the game go tonight?
Well, look at it two ways. We've got to win, which is
Yeah.
the most important thing. From a personal perspective, not so good. But the team wins, so that's the most important thing, as is in any sport, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to win. I think we won by about 6 in the end, maybe. But it went right down to the last game, which was always exciting.
Yeah.
At one point, we were down by quite a lot, but we managed just to nick it at the end. So all good. A win's a win.
Yes. How does that put you in the league now?
I think we'll probably stay 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably where we're going to finish, to be honest. But hey ho,
How many games are left in the season?
we're halfway. Next week is halfway. So actually, the season goes right through till the end of. So it starts in September, finishes in April.
Okay.
Wow, it's a
Yeah,
long old season.
yeah.
And then after April, they have finals evenings. So they have like singles, doubles, and all of that stuff. I think the season actually finishes in May.
Oh wow.
And starts again in September. Yeah, which is staggering, really.
Yeah.
But it's too long, really. But it's fun.
Right, mayonnaise.
Okay, give us a quid.
Well, it's
You bugger, you.
mayonnaise.
That's my fault, Graham.
That's okay.
Is that mine or not?
After speaking to Mark, I learnt about all the potential fines he has introduced into his team. There are 2 types of fines. The first being Skittles fines, which are, if you hit 6 or less pins during your entire go, you get fined. If you miss a single pin on its own, you get a double fine. If on any throw you don't hit any pins, that is also a fine. Then there's the more comical fines. For example, you can be fined for what you wear on the night and for things you say during the night.
Underarm, skin like that, but the proper way to throw it and rotate it with your hand. Like that? No, see the hand, so try and make it go like that. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. And obviously the thing to do is to try and hit this one just to the right or just to the left.
Okay.
Here we go then.
After watching all these Cheese Skittle veterans playing, I decided to have a go myself, with a bit of coaching help from Mark. It turns out my first ever attempt at cheese Skittles didn't go very well, as I didn't knock down the first pin, which the rules state will result in a foul and no points scored. Of course, Mark then had to go and show me how it's done.
There we go. That's how you do it. They call that a working man's rhyme. 2, 2, 1. It's a long story.
I think I'll need some more practice before I get into the team, but I will certainly be going to the Wooden Walls to spectate future games, and I strongly encourage anyone that is able to do the same.